Welcome back, fight fans. It's Will and John here. The MMA Huddle podcast is with you once again. First of all, subscribe, because John forgets every week. So I've been put on the task of reminding you all. Just come along, subscribe to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're on it. And you can come and listen to us chat about MMA every week. This week we're going to be talking UFC Belem, Machida versus Anders down in Brazil. We're going to be taking your questions, and I'm going to be giving you some of my leans for bets. There's no odds out yet, so I'll give you a couple of little spots where I'm looking to maybe throw some of my money down on, and we're gonna go from there. Coming off UFC Charlotte, solid card, lots of big favourites won, some really dodgy scorecards, but overall a solid night and a solid run of cards for the UFC. So, John, I know you were watching some of the fights as per usual. I seen you tapped out I think you must have had the wee man with you for the night. So I'm guessing that you got up and watched the rest this morning. What did you think of UFC Charlotte?
I liked several fights, bro. And I have to admit, I did tap out, because I was up at 7. Not out of choice. Someone woke me up at 7, full of energy. I wasn't. But yeah, I enjoyed the card. I think Mr. Gillespie is just literally stamping his name in that division, and I am pumped for him. But yeah, the women's fights were the only fights that I felt let down. 2 out of the 3 fights, I thought the Keisha and Kim fight was very entertaining, especially in the 3rd round when they just kind of both knew it was kind of 1-1, and they kind of had to go for it. So they both let it hang out there on the 3rd, but the other 2 fights, I will easily forget them because they were terrible, and it really brought it down on the card because it was a good movement, it was good, and then they brought it back down, and then it got brought back up again, thankfully by Betchik, who punched out Pepe's soul. I think I watched his soul go into the crowd, and it's not returned back.
Yeah, it was just bad the way they put it. 3 in a row.
Yeah.
But 1 or 2 of them could have been on Fight Pass, to be honest with you. So it made no sense to me why they put that in the prelims. Nobody wants to see 3 Gull fights in a row. They should have at least had 1 on Fight Pass. I
think one on the main card, 1 on the prelims, and then 1 on Fight Pass. I think just break it all up. It doesn't matter if they're good fight cards or not. Just if you just break it up like that, I think it would just be probably a better kind of structure to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually watched them this morning. I put it on fast forward at +2, so I didn't have to watch the full 15 minutes of the fight. But I still seen everything that I had to really see. So we'll get into UFC Belem. I'll kick us off, and we'll go and have a look. Where am I looking? Here I am. We're starting off in the women's strawweight division with Maya Stevenson against the debutante in Poliana Viana, and I'll start us off in this one because I've got a pretty heavy lean, and it's a girl that I've known about for a little bit of time in Poliana Viana. I actually saw her first on Instagram. I was checking out a former opponent of hers, and who's ultimately went and got banned for 2 years before even fighting in the UFC, so that's great. And she, by all intents, says she looks like she's going to be something decent down in Brazil that they're going to put in this card and they're going to try and build. When I look at this fight, I see this just as to get this girl a win, get a kick started, get her going. I think she's very kind of limited on the feet, even though if you go on YouTube and put in her name in there, you will see fights where she's dropped girls. She dropped that girl that got signed by the UFC. But I think where this girl shines is when it gets to the ground. I think she's very dangerous. I think if you have a look on there, she snaps a girl's arm as well. The girl doesn't tap, so she just goes and hyperextends the elbow and makes her the ref step in and stop that fight by pretty much destroying her elbow. Maya Stevenson, we saw her in the Tough Show. She is not a good fighter with a very padded record, and she got destroyed by Sijara Eubanks last time out. If the line's good in this one, I think this will be a possible bet for me. I'll speak about that more later on, but I like her to win this fight. I think once it hits the ground, it's game over. How do you see it going?
I see Pollyanna absolutely tearing her apart. She's just, it's one of those, like you said, it's made for her to come out and shine good start, good mark. Her to get a good highlight reel, so it's good on the. So Stevenson, I just see her padded record. She's going to get probably 0-3 if she gets to 3 fights in the UFC. She's just really a girl to help some of the others to get a kind of highlight reel. I think she's a perfect fit as well. If depending on what weight class she ends up sticking around at, because she might end up, she might not stick around at this weight class because, like you say, this is a straw weight. She might go up to flyweight. She might feel like this cut might be too much. She might be ideal for Paige Van Zandt. If I'm the UFC, if she goes up to 125, she could be a good one. But yeah, I don't see this going far, mate. I just see Polyana just really starting to make a name for herself in the UFC with a good win.
Yeah. So, moving on, flyweight division, we have Davidson Figueiredo against Joseph Popo Morales. Good fight, really solid fight here. How do you see it going?
Man, I think this is a fantastic fight, and the fact that they put it on the prelims, like they try to put the your UFC Fight Pass main card, so to speak. It's the main event one. They use that to kind of advertise guys. I'm high on Joseph Morales. I think he's a solid, absolute prospect. I think he's a cracking fighter, undefeated. His last fight, he showed that he's got good defense on the ground when he gets taken down, but he's got good hands. When he hits you, that dude will hurt. Like that, he's got power in that right hand. And the thing is, he showed as well in that fight that in his last fight, he's got good maturity when he rocks you. You see a lot of guys, they go in, they bull rush, they just start swinging, and the guy gets the clinch, and then that's all you want from a guy with with a good head on his IQ. Now, Figueiredo is a guy who is very good in his own right. I can't knock this dude either. This cat is a legit beast. I don't think he beat Brooks in the last fight. I think Brooks won. It wasn't a big, but I think he got out grappled fairly easily by Brooks. Brooks did a lot of takedowns. Beautiful belly to back suplex. I think it was over him. He went and got some good mileage, good air miles there. I just think Morales is I think he's exciting. I think Figueiredo is a little bit wild, a bit erratic.
Figueiredo versus Morales. I'm going back and forward. I have been for the last couple of days, watching the kind of fights between these two guys. I've been a Morales fan for a long time. I like Team Alpha Male guys. They've got a line of guys coming through, and they have done for the longest time. And Cynthia Calvillo was calling out this guy, saying he had to be in the UFC, and he came in and he had a very impressive UFC debut against another guy who's actually pretty decent, Roberto Sanchez. But he showed that he's got a really good ground game against a guy who's also got another good ground game in Sanchez, and he looked very efficient on the ground, on the feet. He just looks a really, really good prospect, as does Figueiredo. I think Figueiredo is a little bit more. He can throw a little bit more flashier strikes. He can do some crazy stuff. Sometimes he stands there with his hands down and just swings, but sometimes as well he can look very kind of laboured, and you can work in this guy a little bit. I think the big factor in this one actually is the fact that it's in Brazil. I think this gives it a big. I think it's a tick in Figueiredo's side, because I think this fight, if I'm thinking it's going to be close, they're not going to give it to the American going into Brazilian soil. I just don't see it happening. I see it being back and forth, very, very close. I'm going to go with Figueiredo via decision. I think if he got the nod in his last fight against Jared Brooks, who can establish takedowns, control the fight, and still lose, I think this guy can definitely go and get another decision win here. But it's a close fight. I would like Morales to win personally. I think he's a better talent overall. But Figueiredo, I think, will get the win here. Moving on, Yuri Alcantara against Joe Soto. This is a fight that both guys they fought very recently, didn't they? So
yeah, so you had Joe Soto got the famous calf slicer done by Brett Johns.
So they only fought. They fought like 7 weeks ago. So it's a quick turnaround for both guys there. Both guys lost the last fight. me starting off with this one here, it's a really tough fight to call because Alcantara has made clear disparities in his game. He's getting worse.
Yeah.
I don't think I think he's past the point of being a scary guy, and he is coming down the ranks here. And if that's the way it's going, I have to pick Joe Soto here. The thing is, it's in Brazil, so it's like, does he feel better, more content fighting on home soil now? Joe Soto got caught with a beautiful submission against Brett Johns. Um, it's a tough one. I see this being a little bit laboured to start off with. I see it going to the ground. I think Soto's actually better on the guy on the ground, but Alcantara is he's a powerful guy down there, and he's got a lot of good technique on there, but he has been submitted. Brian Kelleher caught him. If Soto doesn't finish him, going to the decision, you would think Alcantara would get the nod, but I feel like the pick has to be Joe Soto here. I think he's got a little bit more in his game at the meantime, but it's a tough one to pick.
I'm with you as well. I see it as Joe Soto as my pick because I feel that Alcantara is kind of just getting those fights in and get as many can, and he's going, he's finishing. Like, I think he's probably got one step out, one foot out the door of the MMA career. You know, I think he's like 37 or something now. It's getting to that point where he's not fighting. He doesn't get like newbies. He gets experienced, well-rounded guys now, and they're turning him over. You know, he's starting to get to that point where maybe the travel does affect him. Like you say, he's in Brazil. Maybe it might feel a bit better. But Joe Soto, I feel that he's probably still got a lot more in him than Alcantara has. Joe Soto as well took no damage in his last fight. It was just a simple case. He got caught early by a car slicer, and he goes, right, I'm done. And that's why he's straight back in there. He's like, right, I feel great. He's like, I could fight in a couple of weeks, and that's what they've done. And I think this is a fight for him to bounce back to. And I think he will come away with the victory. I really do. I don't see Alcantara at the moment, the way Alcantara's fighting, anything that
makes... It's interesting. I'm actually looking forward to it because the fact that Soto, he got caught so quick against Brett Johns, that's not a bad thing. Brett Johns just caught him with a technique that he was not expecting, and it was beautiful. And it's an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to that one. Moving on, in the bantamweight division, we have Marlon Chito Vera facing off against Douglas De Silva de Andrade. How do you see that one going?
This is an absolute cracking fight. Like, absolute belting fight to me. Matchup is superb. Vera is a guy who kind of got a quick push because he got put up against John Lineker, and that was like his kind of reality check. I think it was like, look, again, the UFC, like they say, when they see a bit of a momentum, they kind of push people up a bit quicker. He's still very young, like, in the fight game. He went up against John Lineker, came up short against a guy who's just more knowledgeable, bit of a brawler, and just could coax him into this kind of fight. Douglas is another kind of... Was it Turkogov?
Yeah,
Turkogov. Turkogov. I hate saying these names. I won't lie. It absolutely breaks me saying some of these names, people. But I like Douglas as a well-rounded fighter. I think that if Vera can use his reach, the front kicks, the teeps, they put people off. People don't realise it. In boxing, a jab is not just a weapon to hit someone with. It's a great weapon to break someone's rhythm. So the teeps is almost like the modern day. It's in MMA anyway. That's a jab, and he could use that so much more often than he does. People aren't going to catch it necessarily. It's just more to put you off, to keep you off your distance, to just keep peppering away, But like, you know, Douglas has got a lot of experience, and he had a lot of wins before he stepped into the UFC. And I just think that, man, it's a tough one. It's a hard decision, this one, because Vera can just pop it out the bag. Like, he's been surprisingly good recently, but I'm going to go with Douglas just on the basis of... Yeah, I'm going to go with Douglas Andrade because...
To start off before I go into this fight, like for the first month of the UFC, we've had 10 Brazilian fights, and they went 1-9 with Jacare being the only Brazilian to win.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
I totally forgot about that. Even today, I had to get reminded that Jacare actually won, and he's Brazilian. I don't know how I managed to forget that. But I think that the Brazilians on here, I think that they'll be looking to kind of right that wrong and try and get it back up to being near even. This fight, I like this fight a lot. I'm a fan of what Marlon Vera has shown me, and the progressions that he's making from the tough season he was on, tough Latin America, the first one I think it was. Love the fact that he's moved his camp full time to Team Yama, which is a lot of stars are moving over. A lot of guys from Hawaii are moving over to Team Yama as well. I thought he fought okay against John Lineker. You get caught in that vacuum. John Lineker's a fighter you can't really pressure because he throws so much heat that if you get in there and you start struggling with this guy, you're going to be in the wrong end of a beatdown. He tried to use his length. John just did a little bit too much for him. I don't think it's a bad loss to take this early on because Lineker is a stud in the division. He tried to establish range. He tried to establish those teep kicks. I think he can do that here. I think Andrade is going to want to be looked for takedowns.
Yeah.
And Vera is very, very. You have to watch out. He's very long. He's very languid. We saw that at the Pickett fight. That he can catch you with stuff. I'm going to go with Marlon Vera. I think that I like the fact he's from South America and he's based in America. So going into Brazil is not going to be a big thing for this guy. Wherever this guy goes, he doesn't care. I like that in a fighter. So I'm going to pick Marlon Vera. Possibly by a finish. Douglas De Silva is a tough guy. He's only lost in the UFC is to Hugov and Rob Font. So 2 losses to guys that aren't bad at all. I think it's going to be close. I actually think Marlon can stop him. But if it goes to decision, I see him beating the Brazilian in Brazil, which is something that I don't think too many fighters, if they go to decision, this one will get the nod. But I like Marlon Vera in this one.
Yeah, cracking fight, bro. I'm with you on that one.
Moving on, Alan Patrick faces off against the Bosnian bomber Damir Hadzovic. This is a fight that is kind of tearing at me a little bit for the simple fact I like Damir Hadzovic.
Yeah.
and I really don't like Alan Patrick. He's a guy that when I watched his fights this afternoon, he pisses me off for the simple fact that he just gets you to the ground and he lays on you, like he did with Stevie Ray. I was saying that if you're a professional fighter and you're letting that happen to you, that's on the guy that is on his back.
Yes.
Stevie Ray tried to do that and couldn't do it. So this guy's obviously got a really good heavy blanket and top game that is really hard to deal with. The one thing that seems to happen in every fight with Damir Hadzovic is this guy gets taken down. Marcin Held, who's a guy that's not really shown anything in the UFC, he took him down every opportunity he had in that fight. But I picked him. He was a massive underdog in that one. And I thought to myself, he just needs to catch him with the right shot at the right time. Marcin Held tried to jump in for a takedown and caught a massive knee. This is kind of how I see this fight going. I think that Alan Patrick is going to take Damir down. I love Damir Hadzovic's striking. I always have. He did this. It kind of reminds me of the John Maguire fight. John Maguire tried to take him down, and then he caught him with a massive shot and put him down. You cannot sleep on Damir Hadzovic's striking, his power at all, because all it takes is one shot. And from what I've seen on Instagram as well, his boxing looks shit hot. It looks really, really good. So hopefully his takedown defense is improved, because if this stays standing, there's only one winner here, because Alan Patrick throws wild winging shots. It looks terrible. It does not look good, but he does have a very, very blanket and top game, and if he gets takedowns, he could win rounds through that. So Damir Hadzovic has to be careful. I think the first 2-3 minutes of the rounds are going to be vitally important, because Alan Patrick is just going to want to survive until those 2 minutes and get takedowns and steal rounds. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Alan Patrick here. I just don't see Damir, his takedown defense improving, where he's not going to stop takedowns. Hopefully I'm wrong. I want Damir to win 100%. I just think Alan Patrick's going to win a weasel 29-28 decision here, and it's going to piss me off. But I'm going to pick Alan Patrick via decision. You?
It is a fight that Damir Hadzovic, like, he has. Do you know the only thing is he's got very good grappling. Demir Hadzovic, but he just doesn't use it in the UFC. It's almost like he's turned up and went, do you know what, I'm going to go from being a very strong grappler, where I used to ragdoll guys like Martin Delaney in Cage Warriors, threw him around like a ragdoll, manhandled him. Now I'm just going to be a boxer, and it's so frustrating. I'm like, dude, you can use both. You can balance both together. You need to do that. And like you said like he's working on his boxing looks shit hot. I'm like, dude, if you want to just be boxing, that's great. That means then that you're going to be very heavy on your feet because you're planting your feet to land those heavy shots. The problem with that is takedown to their Alan Patrick. And the thing with Patrick is, like you say, he's actually quite big for the weight class. Yeah. You know, especially like you saw, Stevie Ray is not small for the weight class either. Stevie Ray does a big cut, strong lad, physically just looked like he was a man versus a child in that fight, and Stevie's strong as shit. So that kind of said a lot. Now, I don't know as well. I think the problem with Stevie is he's a Scotsman in Brazil. That don't go too well. Do you know what I mean? That he's too white for that country.
Yeah, it's hard for. I think it's hard for us, the British fighters to go over there. Like nobody has a good time over there. Jack Marshman went.
Darren Stewart.
Stewart went over there. It's not. He got screwed in that one, by the way. That was. But the guys going over there, it's a hard go to go over there and win a fight. But
yeah,
this is a good fight. I'm really looking forward to seeing Demir. So
I think I'd probably go Alan Patrick as well, decision, because I just feel that I don't think there's enough time for Demir to get that balance of striking and takedown defense and being wary of it. I think that Alan Patrick's going to throw those awful kind of just loose strikes to get in close to get the takedown, and when he gets hold of him, he'll just be able to use that to his strength. But I would love Demir Hadzovic to drop him and put his lights out. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, folks. If that happens, I'll be jumping for joy. And when the odds come out, I reckon Demir might even be an underdog. So it might be, exactly. So it's not a bad thing. I'll go. I'm probably with you, Patrick decision, because Demir's tough. He is a tough cat.
It's one of these picks that really pisses me off because I really don't like Alan Patrick, but you can see clear ways he can win this fight. And I do love, and I have loved watching Demir Hadzovic fight. Way back in his Cage Warriors days, I really have. Yeah. I'm a fan of this guy.
Me too.
I think that Patrick's just going to weasel a decision in Brazil. It's going to be shit. So, moving on, welterweight division. Tim Means against the Panther, Sergio Moraes, and I'll let you lead off this one.
Tim Means, who cares? Just Tim Means. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you get with Tim Means? He's like Cowboy Cerrone. You know, he's just like, right, let's do it. Let's scrap. Man, now Sergio Moraes has been around a long time, people. Very experienced, very good fighter. All right, he's accomplished. He's done a lot, and he got smashed by Kamaru Usman. Like Kamaru Usman, that was like Usman's coming out show. Like it was like, right, I'm going to smash you. I'm going to knock you out, and he did it in style, and he looked fantastic doing it. And I just feel that maybe this is the kind of, since then, this might be the downfall of his career, so to speak, if that makes sense, not in a negative way, people, just that, you know, there has to be a point when you go up, you have to come down. So not everyone goes out on top, and I think after he lost that fight, I think Tim Means is the wrong kind of fight for him. Tim Means will hit you and hit you hard. And Tim Means is great in the interactions on the cage, and this is the big difference because Moraes will try to get you down, lie on top of you, get some grappling exchange and like transitions, maybe get some ground and pound if he can get it. But the problem with Tim Means is he's not got bad takedown defense, but when he's got you there against the cage and you're trying to go for that single double leg, he is active with those elbows. He's always, no matter what position you're in, he's always actively trying to hurt you with his fist or his elbows. And I think this is what will hurt Sergio Moraes. I think it will break him down, especially after getting finished by Usman. I see Tim Means again doing it to him. I think Tim Means can really hurt him with just picking shots, just chipping away at him. I see Tim Means. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go wild, mate. I'm going to go TKO finish Tim Means. Maybe late second, early third round, just a gradual, just break down of Sergio Moraes. Got to go out the box here and go for it.
Mm. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with this one. I'm a little bit back and forth on it. Most of the time when I'm watching the fights, in my head I'm actually going towards Moraes actually more a little bit in this one.
Yeah.
Tim Means is kind of some things in his last few fights have kind of worried me a little bit. He clearly beat Alex Oliveira the first time around. Then that got changed to a no contest. He went to Brazil and he had an injury and he lost that one. Come back, beat Alex Garcia. I like Garcia as a fighter. I think he's solid. But then I thought he looked slow against Belal Muhammad. Now I think Muhammad is a fast fighter. He puts his hands together very well.
Yeah.
But it was weird seeing Belal being just a little bit fast. It looked to me like Tim Means didn't look as dangerous as he once was, and I don't know whether that's it's hard to tell. Belal Muhammad is a good fighter. I I rate very highly, but I don't know. I'm struggling with this one. If he sits back and engages with Sergio Moraes and it's back and forth, and Moraes can get a hold of him, put him against the cage, then I kind of favour Sergio Moraes. But if he can turn and put Moraes against the cage and have him backed up and use his boxing, chip away with elbows, leg kicks. In that fight with Kamaru Usman, he started off okay, but Kamaru Usman kind of overwhelmed him, and that's something that doesn't really happen with Usman on the feet. He saw in the Mech fight that he wanted to keep Mech on the ground.
Yeah, he was saying because he had a load of injuries that he didn't obviously disclose, but kind of like Randa Marcos as well. She had terrible injuries, but she just chose to fight a different game plan, and that could be the case with that Usman fight where he just thought, I'd do the safe one, do my A game, don't dig into anything else, and just stick out. And that's the same with Means. When you've got an injury, you work around it, and if he's injury free. Everyone has bumps and bruises and knocks and all that stuff, but if he's like a legitimately not got a serious injury,
it means that we know whether turns up and does the business. But honestly, I can't guarantee that that's going to happen. And in Brazil, if these rounds are close, most of the time these go to the Brazilian guys, and it shouldn't be that way, but it's just home cooking. It's what's going to happen. I'm going to go with Sergio Moraes. I'm not really confident in the pick. I hope the old Tim Means shows up and he does the business, but I think this is going to be another weasel decision in Brazil where a guy that really shouldn't have won the fight wins the fight. So Sergio Moraes is going to be my pick there. So I think we're moving on to the main card now, and it starts off in the middleweight division with a fight I'm very confident in. It's Thiago Santos against Anthony Smith. I think Thiago Santos is going to lay down the hammer here. Anthony Smith is... I can't believe he beat Hector Lombard in 2017 and he was calling out for guys in the top 10 and this and that. And I think he got the right type of fight here. And I think
like a reality check kind of fight again.
Yeah, he's not a good fighter. Anthony Smith is not a good fighter. He starts off really slow against a guy in Thiago Santos who is known to come out and throw heat from the get. He throws everything big. He doesn't throw these little pitter-patter shots to set up big shots. I think he's going to come out here and blow this guy out the water. The only thing that worries me is if this goes into the mid-round of the fight, into the third, because Anthony Smith, to his credit, comes on very strong late in fights. I don't think that happens. I think Thiago Santos faints away with those low leg kicks and then he comes up high and hits him with a head kick and knocks him out in the first round. So I'm going to go Thiago Santos. Devastating knockout in the first round.
I am with you 100%. I just... Anthony Smith can take a beating, and it's almost like he's like, hit me as much as you can, blow your gasket, and then I'm just going to come at you afterwards. But like I say, Thiago Santos has got ridiculous power. He shouldn't be fighting someone like Anthony Smith. This dude should be in the top 5 by now, but he fucked up at UFC 200 against Gegard Mousasi when he did the dumb thing and went to get up off the ground by putting both hands down. And that since then, that's really held him back. And he lost to Eric Spicely in a silly submission, which if you rematch them now, he would absolutely tear Spicely apart. He would not let a silly thing like that happen. I do see him just doing what he did, bro. Like, he will just overwhelm him with power. There's taking a beating because the guy can't knock you out, but then Thiago Santos hits you and your whole body just changes. Everything, you just go, holy smokes, my internal organs have reconfigured. He hits so hard. I see Thiago Santos all day long.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Moving on, heavyweight division. Timothy Johnson, big dude against Marcelo Golm. How do you see that one going?
Marcelo Golm got the kind of like Polyana's at the start of this card, where she got that fight where it's an ideal pick and she got the win. Same with this. Golm got his, plucked, cherry-picked fighter to go and get a win. So they've got a heavyweight. He comes out, looks okay. I don't think he's any good. Legitimately don't. He has not impressed me. In that debut, the fight was a gimme. I don't even look at it. I look back at his previous fights. There was nothing there to write home about. Timothy Johnson, though, he is a pain in the backside because he's a top bloke. I think he beat Volkan in Belfast. End of decision. He won that decision. I don't know what the judges were thinking, but he's a dude that's win one, lose one, win one, lose one. That dude could do a lot more than he showed. I go for Timothy only because I think he's pummel, tie those arms up, charging, so to speak, with throwing combinations.
Another fight where I'm a little bit unsure. I think what he got the hometown rub in his first fight, did Marcelo Gomez. I mean, Christian Colombo offered nothing. He looked like he should have been in a retirement home.
Yeah.
He had worse grey hair than I had. And saying I am a couple of years younger, but still, he had the dad bod from all that for all dad bods. To be fair, Gom came out and he established his speed straight off the bat, and that's something I think he could do here against Timothy Johnson. The one thing that I think that Timothy Johnson can do is he can take a shot and he can stick around, and if he can put his will onto Marcelo Gom, then I think he could put Gom into a place where he's never been before. It's all about getting this guy, I think, in the second round. First round might be a little bit hairy. He might take some shots. He might get backed up. Gom, to his credit, he showed that he's got submissions. He's got some heavy hands, and that's something that's really that you need in the heavyweight division. Timothy Johnson, I think, could just wear on him, and that's where I'm a little bit. Initially, I was going to go with Marcelo Gom. I'm going to watch these fights back, actually, a couple of fights tomorrow before I put my picks out. Right now, I'm leaning Timothy Johnson to just wear and just tire on Marcelo Gom, and then he could take a guy out, actually. But I'm not sure. I'm a little bit surprised to actually put this fight together, because I thought they would have built Gom a little bit better. They would have given another kind of easy heavyweight. Timothy Johnson is no easy fight for anybody, so I'm going to go Timothy Johnson right now. Might be a pick or change through the week. It might be one of them ones, but I'm going to go Timothy Johnson via probably a late stoppage if I'm going to, but I'm not confident, and I'm flip-flopping on that pick. So yeah, interesting fight.
Yeah.
Lightweight division. Michel Pezares against Desmond Green. I was before this fight, before I started watching tape on this one, I was a little bit heavier on one guy at the start. Oh no, I wasn't heavy. I had an inkling this guy could win the fight, and then the more I watch of his opponent, the more I like his opponent. And his opponent, initially I liked Des Green, but the more I watch Michel Pezares, by the way, I went and had a look at his Instagram this afternoon. That guy ain't going to make 155. I'm telling you right now, that guy's
massive.
Huge. That guy needs to lose some muscle if he ever wants to make that weight again. If he makes weight on Friday, I'll be very surprised. Des Green, I think he showed better striking since he's come into UFC.
Yeah.
I think he's at Henry Hoof's gym in Florida, so
yeah.
He's shown that there. He's always had really good grappling, wrestling, always been very solid there. I just think Pezares is a really tough out, and he's a tough guy to face in Brazil, especially. Guy's only lost twice. I think Tysonov was one of those losses, and Kevin Lee was the other one. So no, he beat Tysonov actually. What was I thinking there? He beat me about Tysonov. I think Tysonov was ill that week. I remember that now. And he lost to Kevin Lee. And a loss to Kevin Lee is not a bad thing whatsoever. I'm going to go Michel Prazeres. I think that he can work on Des Green. I think he can get takedowns. I see Des Green popping back up, so I don't see him controlling Des Green. But I see this being another decision for another Brazilian guy. Close fight, close rounds, but I'm going to go Michel Prazeres.
I am with you, but I see a finish for Prazeres. I think his submission game is deadly. He's kind of got a rhythm now. He's got a confidence. I think before he was getting the decisions because of maybe he was happy to get a decision and not risk the submission for the escape. Like, he got out grappled there, and I think that Prazeres got strength. Because remember, Desmond Green went down to tried a couple of times down to 145. Like, again, there'll be a bit of a size difference here, power difference, make a bit coming into it. And Desmond Green's striking, he's fast, he's creating good angles, but
I love the lightweight division, so I like team matchups like that, especially Prazeres. Prazeres is a dangerous guy, just for the fact he's the stockiness of him. He doesn't offer much on the feet. I think he's getting better slowly, but you can see his grappling's there and he's really, really good with that. So, yeah, interesting fight. Moving on, third fight from the end here, Valentina Shevchenko against Priscilla Caciora here. I'll let you step off with this, John.
It's a gift. It's like a late Christmas present to Shevchenko. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not watched Priscilla fight, I'm going to say it now, don't bother. Do not bother watching footage. Oh my, she is like, when she strikes, bro, like, this is her, like, she punches like this still.
The windmill.
Windmills, no head movement, gets hit often. And this is in the lower regional scene. She gets hit often. You're going against Shevchenko, who is a sniper. She is pinpoint accuracy, and she doesn't hit once. She hits 3-4 times in a row, and then she will angle off, and then you'll be punching thin air, and then she'll come back again. Shevchenko's an absolute savage, and she's dropping down to 125. Good googly. She wasn't cutting weight at 135 pretty much. She was almost just walking on the. So now she's cutting weight, so she's going to be probably going into there about maybe 135. She's going to absolutely mess Priscilla up. Like, it's not even.
I think Priscilla's straight dog shit. I think the fight with Lauren Murphy was actually a pretty decent fight to make.
Yeah.
Back in December, whenever that was supposed to go down.
Yeah, it fell through. Like, gosh, this is a bad one to get, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that falls through, and then you get a girl who, at this time, she could have been the UFC bantamweight champion. Yeah. Realistically, she could have been. I think I scored the fight for her. I need to go back and watch that fight. But Valentina, obviously cutting down to 125. This is her weight class. There's two elite people that stand out in this division. One's coming up for 115, one's coming down for 135. It's Joanna and it's Valentina. They're going to be the two elite girls that are going to be fighting for that title soon enough. It's going to happen. The UFC are going to have these two girls, and then they're going to build the division around them and try and cultivate stars. Valentina here is going to, wherever she wants to finish this fight, she will finish this fight. She's too good. She's too technical. She's levels. Like people say, some people bet, and people I listen to, there's levels to this sport. Valentina is light years ahead of this girl, especially in the striking aspect.
It's not even funny, is it?
I felt terrible watching this Priscilla girl. Like I was going on earlier on about Pollyanna having really bad, like, not the great striking. This girl's striking is freaking terrible. Like, this she comes forward, that chin's looking up to the sky. She's just throwing shots, catching girls that are just not good fighters.
No.
Valentina's going to wipe the floor with this girl. if this girl gets a licking in Valentina here, I'll be surprised. So,
but she's winging these shots, but not finishing the girls. Like, you know, she's not getting
Power.
these big winging shots and finishing them.
Yeah.
She's hitting a lot of thin air as well. Oh gosh, it's going to be so bad. Oh,
Valentina, however she wants here, if she takes us to the ground, she can submit her. If she wants to keep us in the feet, she's going to brutalise this girl. I like Valentina to finish via strike somewhere in the fight. First round, second round. Yeah. So, co-main event of the night, we have the Magician John Dodson against the Punisher Pedro Munoz. This is a good fight.
Yep.
A little fight I'm a little bit unsure of, but I'm going to side with Pedro Munoz. I'm going to go with the guy that's on a little bit of a streak, and the guy who I see, John Dodson, I think his motivations kind of went a little bit. He lost to Demetrius Johnson. He's having to move up to 135, where I think there's better fighters ahead of him, like a lot better fighters, like the Jimmy Rivera's, Cody. I think it's better. TJ Dillashaw, obviously, Cruz. So this guy's not even a top 5 bantamweight in my opinion. He's older. I think
32 now. I think.
Yeah, and he's been around the sport for a long time as well. Saying that, still a really dangerous guy with his speed, his punching power, which always stays with him. Caught Marlon Moraes last time with that.
Stung him, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a fight I was a little bit not too sure about, but I've committed that I'm going to go with Pedro Munoz here. This is the guy that takes a lot of punishment. I don't think his striking defense is all that. But if this guy, just for the slightest second, gets a tinge on your neck, he's going to submit you. And he did that with Rob Font, caught him some nice strikes. As soon as he put his head in there, he was done. He's got one of those elite chokes that once it's in, you can't get out, and you're just tapping straight away. It's a dangerous, nasty choke that he applies on you. I'm going to go with Pedro Munoz. I see this being a close decision, so I'm going to go Pedro via decision.
I was like you as well. I reckon you were debating this fight as well, because it's Munoz striking. I don't think it's as good as John Dobson's. The problem with John Dobson is, he's lost a bit of his shine, a bit of something.
Doesn't throw as much as he used to.
I thought he didn't look in great shape against Marlon Moraes as well. I was a bit worried. If John Dobson could get it switched on, come on looking good, he should win this on the feet. Decision. I'm not even saying he has to finish him. I think he should be able to stop him with just shut him out with an overwhelming amount of strikes. And I think this is a kind of ideal fight for John Dobson to get himself back together, and I think he will do it. This is provided he comes back, he's looking in better shape, as long as he doesn't look like he did against Moraes, where I thought he didn't look in great shape. And he was also, when he fought Moraes, he was just throwing big wild kind of shots, big jumpy spin. He was throwing the shots that he shouldn't have been thrown. He should have been throwing his combinations, coming in, couple of shots, angle away, and he should have been doing what he was doing in the flyweight division, and he's done before, but for some reason he didn't in that fight. And he should have been able to, he should have stopped Marlon Moraes. In my opinion, I thought John Dobson was starting to have his way, but then he just kind of dwindled off. I think in the Moraes fight, hopefully, if he can switch back on, he should get the win. He should. But, again, it's all provided he looks good shape. If he doesn't, because I don't see John Dobson going for a takedown, this is why. And this is the thing. I think Moraes, if it keeps it standing for 3 minutes, this is the issue Moraes has. Moraes might end up shooting for a takedown. I think he might shoot for a takedown himself. I think, not Moraes, sorry. I think Munoz might shoot him for a takedown himself and try to get on the ground to then cause a scramble to go for maybe a guillotine or some form of submission. But I'm going to go wild, go for a decision for Johnson, but he is potentially on his way down unless he can turn this around today.
Yeah, so moving on, main event of the night, a legend. He is a legend.
Yes.
The Dragon Leo Machida faces off against kind of one of these new fighters of the new generation, the athletes that are coming through, and Eric Anders, the undefeated Eric Anders. This was the fight. I remember going back to December, when Anders fought, and they were trying to put a main event together for this one. And I think from what crept out is that Leo Machida didn't want to fight on this card.
No.
but they needed a main event. They needed a star that could main event. So he was pretty much, I wouldn't say he was pressured. I'm sure he's getting paid pretty well to appear in this, but he wasn't ready to get back in the cage. And he's against a guy who I think's got a lot of stuff to work on, but extremely dangerous. Still very young in the sport, and he's getting the shine here in the main event against a legit UFC former champion, legend. This would be huge for Eric Anders. The one thing that now I'm going to pick Eric Anders, and I think the reason is fairly simple. I think that Machida's chin is done. It doesn't take. You need one kill shot with this guy, and you will put him down. You will put him out, like we've seen in the Brunson fight. If you're patient with this guy, you will eventually find that chin and put him down. The one thing that's thrown me off is the fact that Anders has never faced a guy with a specific skill set like Lyoto Machida. Very difficult. And if the first couple of rounds, if he doesn't start well and Machida's just doing what Machida is, pot shotting from long range, hitting him with shots, Anders is rushing forward and not catching him with anything, that could frustrate him. Now, saying that, Machida, can I see Machida going strong for 25 minutes? I don't see it. I see Anders, he's been the 25 minutes outside the UFC, which I really like as well. But it's whether Eric Anders gets frustrated and not being able to implement his game plan against Machida. That's the only thing that's thrown me off here. But apart from that, I don't see where Eric Anders doesn't hit him with a big shot inside 25 minutes. I struggle to see it. He's one of those athletes that came from an elite background in football. Went to an elite college. Yeah, he went to an elite college. I think it was Alabama. He went to, which is one of the elite college teams in America. He was on a championship winning team with NFL pros. It just didn't work out from there. Transitioned over to MMA, undefeated. Record speaks for itself. The UFC see something in this guy, and they're giving him the shine here. They're trying to give him, try to put the spotlight on him and see if he can capitalise on that. I struggle to see. I think he just finds the chin. I struggle. I don't see Machida getting out the way of that one shot that's going to hurt him. And once he's hurt, I think Eric Anders will be all over him. Kind of like the Rafael Natal fight. Once he catches you, he's all over you. Yeah. So I'm going to go Eric Anders. I'm going to go probably a second round knockout. I think Lyoto comes out and frustrates him for the first 7-8 minutes of the fight, but eventually that one big kill shot will land and he'll put him out.
Yeah, I love it. I think back to Ryan Bader against Lyoto Machida. And that was similar to like Eric Anders, the kind of style Eric Anders has, where he kind of semi-bull rushes with the strikes. But if you look at the Lyoto Machida then, he's a lot lighter on his feet. Reaction times were a lot quicker. Lyoto now, if you watch him now, he's not that light on his feet. He's not that much spring in his step. It's almost like him and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, they got a spring in their step. Like, Wonderboy's got it still, but Lyoto definitely doesn't have that spring in his step anymore. And the problem is, he's not that fast now. He is not as fast as he used to be. So that Viper kind of one shot, one kill, what they used to have, it's not there anymore, really. You look at the Chris Weidman fight as well as a great example where if you don't give Lyoto that space, he can't do what he wants to do. And that's what like a lot of guys have realised now. The best way to snuff out Lyoto, not got the speed like he used to, he's not got that kind of spring and just bull rush him a bit. Maybe you'll see quite a bit of cage grappling, like kind of, to and fro on the cage. But I think Eric Anders just will eventually just get that marquee win, get that feather in his cap. Now, albeit he beats him, I don't think they should rush Eric Anders after that. I still think he needs a bit of time building up. My worry is, like I say, I think Lyoto might retire after this if he gets stopped again, because it's like, look, how many times can I keep doing this? Which would be a shame, because I think it's the wrong fight to give Lyoto right now, because of the absolute hidings he's been taken. But yeah, I see Anders all day long.
Yeah. So that's UFC Belem out the road. Overall, I love the run of cards that we're on. Actually, I love the fact that the UFC they've pretty much every weekend until I think it's March, they have fights. So that February is actually a really good month for fights. And then I think we've got like a couple of weeks. We've got a 2-week break, and then we have London. Then we have a three-week break, and then we have UFC 223.
Yeah, because it's Easter. I think it's because Easter or something to do with Easter.
So it's like one fight card in the space of 5-6 weeks, which is really gonna suck. But
it's gonna be weird.
But yeah, coming back with UFC 223, which by the look of things is going to be a blockbuster of a card. So,
oh gosh, is it?
Yeah, looking forward to just this run of cards there. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna quickly. We'll go into my leans or some of my bets for this week and where I'm looking to kind of go this week. There's no lines out in America. There's no lines out here in the UK. So some of the lines that I like for this fight card in Brazil this week is Poliana Viana. I think you guys, I think by the way I was speaking about it, this Maya Stevenson, she's been set up to lose to this girl in this spot here. It's all dependent on lines. If she comes out, she's a -300 favourite, you're going to stay away from that because there's no value in betting something like that. But for me, the ones that I see on this card, Poliana Viana is definitely going to be one of them that if the number's right on her, I will bet her.
Would you bet maybe a finish though? Then would you, instead of betting like her to win, would you then see if the odds were better for a finish, like a knockout or something for a submission? Would you maybe look at that?
Like if you look at my record on bet MMA tips, I'm on there. You will see, and I'm not great with my straight picks because I go for a lot of underdogs, which I'm starting to taper off a little bit. My prop bets, I am terrible with. I'm not a good prop better, like by KO, submission, I'm not good. Parlays, accumulators, I am really good with. Last week I saw that more as a kind of straight picks card. The week before I thought at 220 I thought it was more of a parlay accumulator card. And overall I cashed. I'm on a nice little run. Made a great start to the year. Getting back to who I like in this one, I think Thiago Santos is a lock. I'm just hoping that the line again is going to be good in this. It could be quite heavy. I don't know, Eric Anders is another guy that I really like. But it's one of these cards that I can see fights going different ways. I think Figueiredo, is one that I see the lines being quite close as well. I'm not sure I'm really going to put a parlay or accumulator together for this one because I do see fights being close. I don't see no -200 favourite sticking out and winning the fights. And some of these cards in the past have been burned, but I'm either really good with Brazil cards or I've went like one win and 10 losses, like where all the underdogs come from. So the other three I like already. I like Viana, Anders, and Santos. I think a lot of other people will especially like Santos, will especially like Eric Anders.
Would you maybe go, just a suggestion, would you maybe pick Santos and Shevchenko under 2.5?
If probably, or Santos, I think if he's going to win, he's going to get a finish.
Yeah.
If Shevchenko win, I think Shevchenko can get a win in any way she wants. So I just hopefully the weight cut goes well for her. She just puts on a beatdown on Cachiora, which I think she will. But the other fights I'm targeting, the rest of it, say like, if Demir Hadzovic gets kind of like really disrespected and is a really big underdog, then like he was with the Marcin Hill fight, I will take a shot on him.
Yeah.
But apart from that, the other three I'm looking at, but I've got to wait. It's all line dependent. If the lines come out and they're shit, then you've got to pick and choose, and that's what I've started to do this year. So that's my kind of leans where I'm going on this week. I'm going to send you over to John, and John's going to get these questions fired up.
Oh gosh, yes I am. Now, we did have a fantastic question from Jimmy the Drunk on YouTube with a suggestion which we're going to do in 2 parts. So we're going to do it not this week, but we're going to do it next week. Essentially asked, who do each of us see as a potential UFC champ, but who has not been a champion already? So for example, like Luke Rockhold, we can't pick him, but maybe we could look at Eric Anders. Do you know what I mean? Someone like that, people would just... So we're going to never, and then we will not concur on who. Look, if they don't turn out to win it, it's not the end of the world. Like Slansan, it's a fight game. It happens. People can lose. And I suggested maybe I'd probably put Souza against Gaslam.
I like that one as well. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with him against Weidman or him against Gastelum. I just think that Gastelum is kind of a little bit more relevant, I think, now than what Weidman is. But it's 6.5 a dozen. I'd be happy with either of those fights. I think that's the fight to make. It's all dependent on what Robert Whittaker's going to do, really, because if Robert's going to be out for a while, there's going to be this interim title. If Yoel wins, I think there's a little bit of history there where Yoel and what's his name, Jacare can fight together, and then there's Rockhold and Jacare. They've had stuff in the past as well. So I like the matchup. I think Gastelum is probably one I would probably go with.
Yeah, because it made me I did giggle a bit when he said I was snubbed for a title shot for the interim title. Gastelum just off point, because I felt like saying, you do know, lad, you just lost before to Weidman about a few months back. I know you beat Bisping, but Bisping was already shot anyway after losing a couple of weeks ago. So I found that hilarious. Here we go. Good suggestion. Gillespie, who just won against Makhachev.
For me,
it's not a bad fight to make, but it's Gillespie is the lightweight division is horrendously stacked.
You build your stars.
Yes.
Gregor Gillespie. I've got a few things with Gregor Gillespie. I'm not sure about. I think he's still got a lot of deficiencies that he needs to work on. So I'm not trying to rush him, but you have to give him a better quality of opponent, because who he's faced, Jason Gonzalez and Jordan Ronaldo, he is fucking stomped through those guys.
Yes.
So he needs a clear step up. I was thinking earlier on when I saw this question, the matchups that Chris had put together, the two that I like that I think could challenge him. I think that if you're looking for someone with a little bit of name recognition, that's especially facing Ronaldo and Gonzalez, they do nothing for you. James Krause, he's been around a long time.
Yep.
That's a guy you could put together. The other guy that I like is Tony Martin. I think he's a tough guy.
Yes.
He's a tough fighter for anybody, I think, not ranked. And he's a clear step up from what you faced before. So that's where I would go with him too. But Makhachev, there's guys, Makhachev, Taisumov, Gillespie, David Tamer. There is clear guys in there that you've got to build that could be future 15 guys, because there's people like Pettis, Melendez, they're coming out of the rankings.
I was about to say, Gillespie Pettis would not shock me at all, because you think, has Pettis got much in him? We don't know. Gillespie could they want to give a marquee win to someone for Gillespie. If Pettis wins, it's not a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? I would like Gillespie against Pettis. I think that'd be fireworks. I think that'd be fantastic. Oh my gosh. Especially the pressure that Gillespie puts on. Pettis would hate it, but I'd still be all for it. But I'm with you, buddy. This was a nice one he put together. Nico Price against Al Hassan. That dude just hits to kill off the top of his head. But Nico Price again's one of them ones where he beat a guy who was nothing special. Like Sullivan's a guy who should have got smashed by anyone. I think Nico Price has still got quite a few areas he needs to tighten up and sort out still. Like he's a bit wild, but I think that's the kind of fight though. Price and Al Hassan would just be wild fireworks. I've got to be honest, that would be just good entertainment. So yeah, I wouldn't be against that. What about yourself? What do you think there, Will?
I like that fight actually. I think it's a fight you could put together.
Yeah.
It'll be an all-action fight because both guys. I think that Al Hassan is the better kind of athlete, the better guy, but Price is awkward, and he's coming off his first loss, which was he got the rebound win. I think it's a good fight actually put together.
Next up, we came up with Green versus Pichel. Obviously,
I think Bobby's going to want to look for a bigger name. I think he was calling out Kevin Lee. He's looking for somebody that's ranked, and he could get it because look at the guys he faced before. Magomed.
He's fought all the top guys before. It's nothing new for him. It's not like he's never been up there in the mix. He's been around the mix for many years. I was happy that he started to get his groove back. You know, it's the Bobby Green that I was worried it wasn't going to come back again, and he has, and I'm super happy. I think Eric Koch is just not the dude he was. You know, I think he's put a bit too much bulk on as well, in my opinion, Eric Koch. You know, I just thought he looked a bit too slow, a bit too heavy after a while. I thought he's put a bit of strength on, which is not a bad thing, but I think it's definitely slowed him down. But yeah, Pichel, I think I still want to see a bit more out of him, and I think there still is, because I don't think that wasn't a great performance. Like you say, I think Pichel probably has another fight outside of the top 15. You know, even again, another one like Tony Martin. Do you know what I mean? There's guys outside there that I would match up with as well.
Yeah.
Another one here. The Soul Catcher, Betchik, against Qatar. Solid fight, solid matchup, to be honest with you. There's nothing wrong with that fight at all. I think it would suit both parties.
Yeah, it's a good fight to put together. Bektic going to TriStar really intrigues me, because for us to have once he's got that kind of pupil that he can work on, mold, he usually does very, very well with them. And someone like Bektic, who has a lot of talent in a lot of areas, he could become a legit guy in this next year. 2018 could be a big year for this guy. Him versus Qatar, I'm not sure whether Qatar is going to be a ranked fighter. So like Bektic said last night, he's looking up. I'd be surprised if Andre Fili, I know he beat a ranked fighter, but I'd still be surprised if he's a ranked fighter, considering he wins and loses and wins. That's his first 2-fight win streak in the UFC. Bektic, who can you put him against? Maybe someone like I don't know. It's hard to.
Mr. Finland.
Oh, Makwan, yeah.
Makwan, because to be honest with you, I would put more investment into Bektic. I would have Makwan there as he's a once a year guy. He's not really making a serious attempt at this. I'll be brutally honest. I don't care what he says or what he does on social media. If you fight him once a year, lad, you're not taking the game serious. I would probably put that on. I think Bektic would have a good time against him, and I think that would be a fight for him to win.
Yeah, it's something I haven't really looked at. I can't think of the rankings off the top of my head. But if I'm Bektic, I'm not looking back, I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
So maybe someone like Michael Johnson. I know he's not a ranked fighter.
Yeah. Solid name.
It's a solid name, but you need a guy. Bektic is just one. You need someone that's just won a fight. So I don't know. It's a tough kind of put together. I think. It's a tough one. That's a tough one. We'll see how. We'll leave the matchmakers to make those decisions with that. But
next one is he suggested Brunson loss. So Brunson against the loser of Santos and Smith, which we presume will be Smith. Brunson Smith probably makes a kind of semi-logical fight. They both come off a loss. I wouldn't argue against that, to be honest with you. I think the pair of them would kind of match up well together.
I was thinking, who was I thinking? Krzysztof Jotko. I was thinking Jotko could be one of those guys. Because
he's been KO'd, he's out for a while now as well. That's the issue. Jotko can fight straight away, and I think Jotko's fighting soon. I think he's I think he might be getting matched up soon. From what he's talking.
It's David Branch got a fight. I think he has.
Yeah, David Branch is.
He had a fight against Yoel. Fuck. Let's see. Or maybe he hasn't got a fight actually. I thought he got a replacement. No, he didn't. So there's a fight you could put together. Maybe Branch against Brunson.
You'd have to wait. How long do you have to wait? 60 days, 90 days for Brunson. So he didn't get a clear knockout. He got wobbled, so to speak, as equilibrium, got sent upside down. So maybe if Branch wants to sit around, but there's about Krista, thank you very much, buddy. Next up we have, it's an absolute nightmare. Like, if all of a sudden, are you going to tell me that if the
thing that annoys me is that it's been 1 year and we're no further forward with it. No. So it's like we could be speaking about this time next year, and it's the exact same thing. I don't understand it. You have to get the bigger bodies like California, Vegas, Nevada. Get them together and say, look, this is the way it's going to be. This is the way we're doing things. It's the same with the judges. Like last night, they had independent judges. Fly in the best judges for the fights. It's the biggest fights you're putting together. You can't have guys who have never, like, there was people last night that were judging fights that have never judged for Bellator or the UFC. So they've been doing local shows. You can't be doing that. I just hope that hopefully by the time we get to the end of this year, things have changed and we've got a bit more clarity about it. But it's a bit of a bollocks at the minute.
It is indeed. Here we go. So, our boy Adam Sean, his Twitter handle, as you already know, people, is at Adam Sean 292. He's dropping down a message to us. How many? A couple of questions actually. So here we go. So you had a bit of a little go at people on Twitter about this, Will. Here we go. What's the European marketing strategy post WME takeover? Or it's not WME now. They've changed the name, haven't they, to something else? Given the poor UFC London card, do you believe stacking IFW is the right thing to do? International Fight Week, by the way, IFW stands for. Now, I think they have to stack the International Fight Week due to the fact if you look at the past 3 years, I think the main event or something fell through for the last 3 years on them. They have to stack it to play safe because that's the International Fight Week is like their biggest advertisement for the promotion, not just for like you and I, but for like non-fans and all that. It's like their marquee event, their Super Bowl, let's say. They need to stack that out. They need to get the stars.
Got Stipe in DC.
Yeah, but what I mean, if that falls through,
yeah,
that's what I was about to say.
Sure.
If that falls through, do I believe that those two matches can help still pull the numbers in? Like you had. Like, do you know, it's a hard one because I don't know where the other stars are, to be fair. But yeah, that would be a good idea. Maybe if they did that, I think that's the reason why they stack it, and it makes the most sense. You know, fill it out as best you can with the most the fights. Maybe have a couple of backup guys to maybe if someone does fall out, they can have someone step in, for each fight. So you'll have like a 135 fight, a 125 fight, and a heavyweight fight to maybe step in if the challenger were to get injured, not the champion. But the opinion on the London card, though, Will, do you want to put your opinion out there on that? And the marketing strategy they have there?
The thing what's wrong with the UFC Europe team at the minute, there's nobody leading it.
No.
So there's no structure. What they're doing with the cards is, they're like they've always said, they're focusing local fighters.
Mm-hmm.
They've been saying that for a couple of years. But the thing is, before this fight's even announced, you can guess what fighters are going to be on that card.
Yeah.
The London card, it was obvious to me. I've named, I think we've got about 20 fighters. I think I named about 8 that I knew would be on that card. And we've still probably got fights to be announced. There's no structure, there's no leadership, so we don't know what the hell's going on with UFC in Europe at the minute. Talking about International Fight Week, I went in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. If you're a true UFC fan, when they had the expo and everything at the Bellagio, I think it was, or whatever it was, I can't remember where it was now. It was huge. There was the IMMAFs or whatever you call them,
yes.
IMAFs. They had fights there. There were fighters everywhere. They had PlayStations. You could play UFC. There was stuff to do everywhere. Now, last year, from the people that I know went, it got a lot smaller, and that is the influence of WME, IMG, whatever they are called now. I don't know the name of them. That's even went down. Mm-hmm. So that week I had in Vegas was incredible. So much stuff you could do, but last year there was nothing like that. Very little, which was a shame, because if you're flying across the other end of the world, you want to have a week to remember, and you still will have a great time in Vegas because there's so much to do. But like I was in my element a couple of years ago, I had such a good time. But they seem like they're just pulling everything back, whether it be quality of fighters that's in the UFC, to like UFC Fight Pass is not really progressing like I thought it would. UFC Fight Club's just non-existent now. I don't know where they're going. It's hard to see where they're going. I think stacking the International Fight Week, it's the biggest weekend that they should have of the year. So they need to stack those cards. There's usually 2 of them. I'm all for 3 title fights. I think that's a good fight card. But if DC and Stipe fell through, then Cyborg to headline. I still think Cyborg's a big name, but I don't think she's a UFC kind of headline. I just don't see. She's not going to bring in the numbers.
No, I don't think she'll bring the numbers that Stipe and DC would. No, absolutely not. And with the London situation, it's a case of it saves the one thing it does do. It saves them money. People keeping as many guys as they can on that card locally, so to speak. UK, European, like it saves them money. That's what they're doing. I think there's 2 more fights to get put onto there. That's it. There's only 2 more fights. You've got Bisping, Rashad Evans, which is most likely going to happen, especially after what happened this weekend with the rumours, etc., and what's been said. So that's 1 fight to go on there. And then after that, you've got 1 more of a fight, possibly. I think a fight card in the UK, because they don't come over enough at all to the UK. They come over, like, I know that's split between Europe, so they might come to the UK 2 to 3 times a year. Right, fine. Or British Isles, because you want to include Dublin or whatever you want to call it. Right, so I think they should at least 4 to 6.
It's in the middle of it. Like, it's the fight card before UFC 223.
Yes.
And they're gonna start. What I'm starting to see now is the same people that are moaning about the quality of the card. People, if you're moaning about it and you don't like it, you're still going to pay the ticket. You're going to go. Save your money, and New York is a 5-6 hour flight.
Yeah.
If you want a big fight card feeling, you save your money and go there. Don't give the UFC the money for these cards and let them dwindle down, and then they'll maybe see something. It's just
go to Cage Warriors. Cage Warriors the week after. Super Saturday the week after. Cage Warriors. Tickets are decent. They're on sale. They're going to put 2 cards. So far, they've got absolutely mint fights on. It's going to be absolutely awesome, that fight card. But that is going to be worth it.
If you go to Cage Warriors, you're not going to be spending any more than a couple of £100, really.
Yeah.
If you're staying in the city, you might be a little bit more expensive. But what you're spending that weekend, even to go to Cage Warriors, that's flights to New York. I've already looked at UFC 223. Just out of curiosity, I don't think I'll be going to it, but you're paying for your flights. Now, New York's an expensive place, and your ticket won't be as cheap as probably what you're going to get over here. But
for star power, you're paying what you get.
You're going to have 2 title fights. You've got Tysomov's on there, so you've got a little bit of the European personalities on there that guys to look out for. They're going to stack that card. Michael Kaiser says he's fighting on that card, and there's talks to him. The talks that I've heard is he's going to be rematching Kevin Lee at UFC 223. So the little things that I've heard so far, but who knows? I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see.
Next question we have is, what has he said here? Okay, cool. So, again from Adam, which would you prefer to own? Okay, what would you prefer to own? Art Jimerson's one glove. So, for people who don't know who I just said, just go and educate yourselves, okay? UFC 1, Art Jimerson, former boxing champ, fought UFC 1 against Royce Gracie with 1 boxing glove on. Okay, so the next being was Fedor's jumper. Now, again, if you don't know what Fedor's jumper is, you're missing out, people. Or Khabib's hat. It's not called a hat. It's got some funky name. It's like a symbol of war or whatever it is, a warrior. So, which one would you prefer out the 3? I know my choice, but what would you prefer?
I'll probably go with Khabib's hat. I can just imagine me walking up the high street with that thing on and going to work with it and seeing the people giving me queer looks and stuff. So I would do that for the shits and giggles, I think. So
I would go nostalgia. Art's glove would be something just to behold. It would just be a wonderful, crazy thing to have. So nothing wrong with Fedor's jumper, but you get jumpers like that at Christmas. A next question we have here. Here we go. Stipe versus D.
I just don't think Kane's in no position to say really anything in the meantime. DC come off a fight where he's not got any injuries. He can move up to a weight class where he doesn't have to cut any weight. And Cain Velasquez just can't commit to anything. It's plain and simple. He can't commit to anything because he's injured so much. He's not in the right physical kind of frame to get in for that fight. I think, honestly, I was going to think about this. You could have made Cain against Stipe, but had DC ready to go if something happened to Cain. But then you're taking a big risk. You're holding up UFC 205 division, which is, let's be honest, DC's beat who he's going to beat in that division. It's a shame for Cain Velasquez, but I think we'll maybe see him once, maybe two more times in the UFC, and that'll be it. I think Cain knows that his body is in a bad way. DC saying that he's only going to fight for maybe another year tops. Let him have that opportunity to come forward, and Cain gets healthy. And if he comes back when DC's the champion, then who knows? But I very much doubt we'll see them two facing off.
Yeah, I don't think they'll face off. I think with DC retiring in March, Cain Velasquez lack of health. I was saying before, I think we don't know when Cain's going to come back. So first and foremost, we can come back in 3 months. He could come back in 6 months. We don't know. I think he needs 2 fights to show A, he's fit to fight for the first fight. Second fight to show consistency. They can do 2 fights in a row. I don't think Cain Velasquez could do that before March of next year for when DC says he's going to retire. I think, though, if DC were to beat Stipe, he might just get the belt, have that, thank you very much, 2 belts, off I go, I retire now. Why wait till March? Get your 2 belts. So he might even do that then. If he were to lose, then he'd probably go down to 2 or 5 again and keep going. It doesn't matter. I don't think DC's going to defend it. I think he'll just get the straps and go. What's the point? There's no need for him. Win 2 titles. I've won 2 titles, held them at the same time. At least I defended one of them, unlike someone else. And off I go. That'll be my opinion on that one. So here we go. Next question we have. Okay. Thank you very much, Matthew Hawkins. Your Twitter handle at COOT66Hawk. His question is, between Kat Zingano, oh, by the way, he put their Twitter handles on. Oh yeah, didn't type it, put their handles on. So if they were to read this, not saying they would, they'll read it and see it. Between Kat Zingano, Misha Tate, and Ronda Rousey, whose panties would smell better before a fight, during a fight, and after? Asking for a friend. Okay. So before a fight, Will, obviously this is a serious question, and we're here to answer them. Who would you pick? Best, I suppose, like a shag, marry, avoid, isn't it? Kind of thing. So, I'm gonna go Rousey, Misha, Kat. So Rousey before, Misha during, Kat after. Because I think Kat's awesome, and I think I'd pick her for all 3.
Let me see. Right, I don't think if it was Ronda Rousey in a prime, she was getting bitches out of there in what 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
she'd be
so
after.
there might be no kind of whiffage there for us to really have. So I would go Kat first.
Yeah.
Misha second.
Yeah.
No, that's bullshit. Actually,
she goes 5 rounds. She goes long, Misha.
Yeah, I would go Kat before. I would go Ronda in the middle after she annihilates someone, and then I'd probably go Misha then because she's always in long fights, and I wouldn't mind a whiff of that shit. So.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. As long as I'm glad he didn't put Quiche in there, because she would have definitely been at the start. Definitely been at the start. She would not be at.
You'd have a shit mustache.
And here we go. Here's another question we had. So this was from Minimize Risk. His Twitter handle is Your Mother's New Guy. Awesome. I quite like that Twitter handle. Okay, so his question here, Will. If you were given £100,000 or dollars, could you make a living from just betting that amount and living off the profit? So you quit your job, you give it all up, there you go.
I don't think I could. I don't know. I think I would get too greedy and I'd bet too much.
And blow it too quick to build back up.
I don't think, and I say this, and I've had conversations with people, and people have called me out on it because I make videos and I pick fights and I do bet fights. I don't see myself as a very good bettor of fights. I've won lots of money and I've lost a lot of money. I'm trying to be a little bit more strategic with my bets now and not going gung-ho on a lot of guys. I definitely feel I've got a better strategy than I've had in the past. But if I had that amount of money, I know, just from knowing myself, I would bet too much, and I'd probably chase bets where I shouldn't be chasing things. So,
Right, 100, I put it all on Stevchenko this weekend, and she gets starched with one
yeah,
punch, and you'd be like,
yeah. So it's, I don't know. I think if you asked me a year ago, I think maybe not. Maybe this year I'm a little bit more different, but we're only a month into a new betting year for me.
yeah.
So,
There's 12,
um,
yeah. There's 12 out of a year,
yeah,
exactly, yeah. You can have one
yeah,
good and 11 bad.
yeah. So I've started off really well. I very much doubt that's going to continue. I'm going to have my ups and downs this year, but as long as I can stay consistent and in profitable equity, then I'm definitely. I think I'm looking forward to seeing how I can progress through the year. But I don't think I could. I think I'll get too greedy and throw money on bets. I shouldn't be doing that. And some people out there, some people are really good bettors and they're like cold hearted and they don't care about those fighters and they don't look into it. Like if I was to see Anthony Pettis in a fight which is close lined, I know fine well I would throw money on that guy. Or Gunnar Nelson. I did it last year against Ponzinibbio, and that card I got shafted
Yeah.
big time. So I got biases with some fighters, and I know I would throw money on them, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So I don't think I would, honestly. I think I'd get too greedy.
I would lose it pretty quick.
Mm.
I'll tell you that right now. I'll just go 100k. Let's fuck it. Let's do it. Okay, so last question from Adam again. Good one, actually. If you could go back in time and give advice to any fighter ringside, which fighter would it be and what fight?
Mm. It
So,
would be. I would go Tito Ortiz against Chuck Liddell because I would say Tito, don't you fucking step in that cage because you're gonna get annihilated. Don't do it. You ain't got nothing for Chuck Liddell, and he knew that as well because they knew each other beforehand. He knew that Chuck Liddell was going to starch him
yeah,
badly, and he did so. I was kind of thinking other ones would be like maybe Alistair Overeem in the third round against Antonio Silva. Just don't put your back again on the fence. Just fucking
yeah,
move, run
yeah,
away, run
yeah,
around. He's not going to
yeah.
catch you,
No.
so just run. So yeah, I'd probably go Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz because I was a fan. I wasn't really. I was into it back then, but I wasn't into it as much as I am now, where I watch all the
Yeah.
time. I analyze it. But even I knew then. I thought, oh, you're in deep shit, Tito. So yeah.
I would probably go again with Chuck Liddell, but
Mhm.
against Rich Franklin.
Yeah.
Like, that dude. In fact, no, I'll go with. Yeah, I'll probably go with that one. I'm like, dude, he hurt his arm. You could see there was something up there. Like, in fact, every fighter that's had that kind of thing, like, hit that arm. Like, there's been many fighters that have busted their arms and they've just, they shell up and they just keep it there and they don't use it. And no one bothers to hit it. I'm
Yeah.
just, like, absolutely flabbergasted. I'm like, even if you break your hand, if someone hits your arm, your hand hurts because it vibrates through. Like Jose Aldo and Faber when he broke his hands. Was that the Jose Aldo Faber fight? I think it was in WEC. Like, his arms are jacked. Kick his arms, his hands are going to hurt. Like, just guys don't take advantage, and even women don't take advantage of the other person's kind of downfall. And I'm like, I know it's a target, and they know it's coming, but they can't stop it. And too many fighters have done it. I'd just be like, I'd be too ruthless. I'd be like, just take them out. I don't care if they can't use their arm again. If you get you to win, take it out and
Yeah.
destroy it. But yeah, that'd probably be it. And yeah, there you go, bro.
Yeah. That's all the questions we've got this week.
That's it, mate. That's all the questions this week.
That's so like we've got a good amount of questions. We appreciate it, guys. Get them into us anytime through the week if anything crops up in your mind. If you're on YouTube, put them in the drop down box, and we'll get them on for next week. I know that Jimmy the Drunk put in that question. I think what we'll do is we'll maybe go 115 and then do the 6 weight classes up. But how many? It's 11 weight classes.
No, because there's quite a few down below. Shut the women's as well.
Right,
There's 12 in total.
We'll do
I've noticed
6 probably.
more
Yeah.
than that. Yeah.
We'll
Split it up. Yeah.
What we might do is we might go from your flyweight, strawweights up to maybe lightweight, and then we'll go welterweight, middleweight, and the ones above from there the week after. We'll see. We'll get that answer from. We'll look into it a little bit more. Go from there. Next week we have got UFC 221 from down in Perth. Where Jacare faces, not Jacare, Yoel Romero faces off against Luke Rockhold.
God, I video study that card. Oh.
But it's a bet. We're not going to have a weaker pay per view than 221, but there is some interesting fights on there. I'm looking forward to seeing Israel Adesanya, I can't remember what
New
his
signing, yeah.
his nickname. I really like his nickname. What is it again? Oh, that's going to annoy me. Oh, I can't even find it now. That's pissing me off. Stylebender, the Stylebender, which I really like that nickname. And I obviously like the main event. I think the co-main event's actually pretty decent with Mark Hunt. Looking forward to seeing Tai Tuivasa again. But until next week, from me and John, thanks for tuning in. Keep on supporting, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Take care.